The Real Weather Watch is brought to you by DeKalb, all season strong. We're joined right now on RealAgriculture.com by Chris Scott. He's a meteorologist with the Weather Network. Welcome today, Chris.
Hey, thanks, Sean. How are you doing?
Doing really good, Chris. Harvest. We're kind of getting to the end of the soybean harvest. Farmers are starting to think about corn harvest in the heart of farming country in Ontario. What kind of weather can they expect here in the next couple weeks?
Well, we've got another pretty wet system coming up this week in the Wednesday time frame. We got lucky around Thanksgiving. We got that beautiful stretch of weather, which really helped with the soybeans. A lot of guys were able to get a lot of the crop in. But now as we turn into the middle and end of October, mainly harvesting corn, we're going to be dealing with a lot of wet conditions. Developing again Tuesday night through Wednesday into Thursday. We've got a pretty big system coming up from the U.S., and these ones always bring a lot of moisture when they come up the eastern seaboard, and we'll get into some significant rainfall, 1 to 2 inches of rain, widespread across southern Ontario, followed by some pretty cold air. Don't have to worry about any significant snow falling most likely, but sometimes in the lake effect snowbelt areas, you can get some spongy hail that mixes in this time of the year. So it's going to be a bit of a tough stretch coming up to the middle of this week, and then we're going to dry things out again through the weekend and into next week. It will not warm up like it did around Thanksgiving. We won't get back into the mid-20s, but we're going to get into a more typical fall weather pattern where we see a couple dry days followed by a day with a few showers, back to some dry days, and temperatures will be averaging close to normal. And we're talking about low double digits as we slide down towards the cooler air this time of the year.
So this could be considered kind of a typical corn harvest for the Ontario farmer?
It looks that way, and it's always a bit challenging when you get into November because then we start to talk about the first snowfalls, not so much when you get down through, let's say, Essex and Kent counties, but when you get through Lambton and certainly Huron, Perth, and to the lee of the Great Lakes, you can sometimes get these early season snowfalls from lake effect snow, and sometimes that plays a little bit of a problem with the corn harvest, wreaks a bit of havoc. We don't see anything like that right now. We don't have any big shots of Arctic air that would get us concerned about significant snow. You always get a few flakes of stuff in the air towards the end of October, early November, but so far in the next 2 weeks we don't see any big problems dealing with snowfall. In terms of wet weather, we've got to get through the next few days. Monday, Tuesday, no big problems, but it's really Wednesday and Thursday are the wet days in southern Ontario. And then after that, we don't have any huge rainmakers on the way right through the end of October. It's going to be more of this touch and go scenario where you've got some dry weather, a few showers, and that's pretty typical for this time of the year. It doesn't want to stay dry for a week straight, but we don't often get these big wet systems like what we'll get this week.